Edge, Monday, March the 6th. My name is Sean Carrier. Thank you for being with us. March Madness continues. Huge card in the NBA tonight. 12 games on the slate. Absolutely no time to waste, so let's dive right in. The first selection we're going to release today is an easy money two-team parlay. We've got two home teams here that we really like to get it done on their home court. Maybe laying a few too many points, but very likely to escape their home courts with the W. So let's dive right in. The first half of the two-team parlay is going to be the Detroit Pistons at home to the Chicago Bulls. Bunch of reasons why we like the Pistons in this affair. The first of it being Chicago's road record at 12-18, not a very good record away from their home arena. I believe that is under 40%, and Detroit's home record of 19-12. That is a very good home record, over 60%, if my math is correct. Getting down to the recent meetings, these two teams have played twice already this year. The home team escaping with a victory in each. Just something I'd like to point out about this last game in Chicago. Detroit shot 3 of 23 behind the arc in that game, and Chicago made half of their three-point attempts, shooting 8 of 16. So if that stat gravitates just a little towards the average in tonight's affair, we should definitely see a much better result for Detroit. Hopefully much more similar to this affair here on the 6th of December, where Detroit won 102-91 in Detroit. Getting down to Chicago's recent form here, there is something I'd like to point out. Just on the surface here, it looks like they're playing well of late. That's victories in 5 of 7 of their last 7 games. But just a few things I'd like to point out here. This game going into the All-Star break, if anybody saw against Boston, a phantom whistle at the end with Boston up 1. Jimmy Butler goes to the line, makes 2 free throws with just about no time on the clock. That should have been a loss. And then this game here, it took overtime on their home floor to beat a Phoenix Suns team that's not winning very many games of late. And then this win against the Cavs, no LeBron James in that game. Cleveland yet to win a game this year without LeBron on the floor. Then they lose to Denver. A win against Golden State, where if anyone watched that game, Steph was in a slump. They just made none of their shots. Shot a terrible percentage in that game. And then they got hammered at home against the Clippers by 10. So you can kind of put an asterisk against most of these victories. This team might be just a little overvalued because of just their win-loss record in their last 7 games. But if you take a deeper dive into these games, it's definitely not a Chicago team firing on all cylinders. So just might be a little overvalued right now. This could be a time here where Chicago goes on a little slide. They get Detroit tonight, then they go out to Orlando, and then probably a loss to Houston here on the 10th of March. Just something to look at for the future. This could be a Chicago team ready to go on a slide. Now this Detroit team, I believe they're playing well of late. They hammered Philly their last time out by 30. This loss against New Orleans, that was a tough loss. New Orleans played without Boogie Cousins in that game and still slaughtered Detroit there. But that game was on the road, and Detroit back at home today, where they played much better. Just looking at these last 4 games that they played at home, they beat Portland in overtime, lost to a tough Boston team, but then beat Charlotte and beat a Dallas team that definitely plays hard every night. I really like the way this Detroit team is playing right now, especially on their home floor. And we're fully going to expect them to get the W tonight. The officials for tonight's game, we've got Brent Barnaky, Rodney Mott, and Brent Nazel. Not a terrible crew. There's not too much I saw here on the day's rest, as both teams coming off that 1-day rest, so we're going to zoom right by that. We'll just look at the injury report. Chicago a little banged up right now. Micah Carter-Williams is questionable. Rondo questionable for tonight's affair, and Dwayne Wade is not going to be going tonight. So definitely a team that's a little banged up, a little thin at the guard position as of the moment. And Detroit, pretty much a full complement of players. Beno Udrih is questionable, but he is the 3rd point guard on the depth chart, so shouldn't affect them too much. We'll get into the summary and the stat graphic here. So as we highlighted, Chicago not good on the road. Detroit very, very good at home. Chicago might be a little overvalued right now, and the Bulls a little banged up with Wade out, Rondo and MCW questionable. Could just be a little thin, especially with the recent trade they just made. They traded Taj and Doug McDermott, two players that were seeing lots of minutes in the Bulls rotation, and now with Wade, Rondo, and MCW possibly out for tonight, could be a little shorthanded on the road. And then we've got Detroit with edges here in defense per 100 possessions, field goal percentage, rebounding percentage, and turnover percentage. All things that should work well for Detroit. Feel like there are enough reasons there to pull the trigger with Detroit as the first half of the two-team moneyline parlay. So let's get right to the second half of that parlay, and we're going to add the Cleveland Cavaliers as the second half there. Definitely should get it done on their home court. We'll just jump right into the summary and the stat graphic for this game. So the Cavs are 26-6 at home, 81% winning percentage. They do not lose very many games in their home arena, and we don't think this is going to be one of them. Just for some reasons we'll get to just in a moment. Starting with Miami's road record at 13-20. This team is surging of late, but just 40% on the road. Probably not equipped to go into Cleveland and escape with a W. And Miami's just in a really bad spot in this game. As you see the second bullet point here, this is their third game in 4 nights, their 7th game in 11 nights, and 8th consecutive court change. So they haven't been in the same city for more than a day in about 11 nights here, playing a bunch of games in a bunch of different cities. They could be a little tired here, and Cleveland, with a little bit of a revenge factor, they got slaughtered by Miami just a few days ago, but they rested LeBron and Kyrie in that game. But they definitely might want to come out with something to prove to this Miami team tonight with all of their starters going. And then just the last point here, we've got Cleveland with huge edges in offense per 100 possessions, field goal percentage, and points per shot. This is an elite level team that doesn't lose very many games at home. We don't expect this to be one of them. So that's the two-team moneyline parlay, guys. Put it on the board. Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers to both get it done on their home courts. We're actually going to put 2 units on this parlay. We really like it. So that's the first play of the day, guys. The two-team moneyline parlay. Put it on the board. It's going to be another Bet Edge winner. So good luck with all your bets tonight, guys. We might throw some extra bets up on our Twitter, so be sure to follow us there at bet_edge. Check the description for a link below the video right here. As always, guys, thanks for following us. Good night and good luck.